What's going on, guys? My name's Kyle, and today's video we're going to be talking about how often do you really need to upgrade your gaming computer. Now I feel today that this is a good subject to talk about, especially for new PC gamers who can relate to this, and of course people from the consoles trying to get onto the PC platform. Now of course one of the biggest problems they probably get is that they get scared off a little, thinking that PCs cost a lot of money, is to spend that each year to play the latest titles. So the first thing, of course, you must have all heard at some point, especially if you're in the PC community or you're actually doing research about getting into that PC platform, you must have all heard or read somewhere that it requires you to upgrade your CPU every year, your motherboard every year, and especially your graphics card every year. Well, truthfully, in my opinion, this is actually bullshit and not necessary thing to do. It doesn't really help that you have, of course, things like YouTube, where of course you see people slapping in 980 Ti's, of course the latest greatest CPUs, motherboards and such. And of course even when you see a game review, normally they're always on that top high-end card and people want to know what their cards do on that game. Now of course if you are a PC enthusiastic person and you have a lot of money, have a very good job, then by all means go out and buy the best technology you can buy and enjoy that absolute beast of a computer you're going to build, because that's what I would do if I had a lot of money. But fortunately I'm like you guys where I don't have a lot of money, so of course we have to go out and buy whatever we can afford. Now me personally, I built this rig here, what you've probably seen many times on the channel if you've actually been in me for a while. I built this rig personally before I even did YouTube back in 2013. Now granted that I have personally upgraded some of the components since building that, but a lot of it is actually still original from when I built it 3 years ago. So some of the technology in there is 3 years old. But I still play the latest and greatest games today, completely maxed out with very high FPS. But like I said, I built my personal PC build back in 2013, around about June time. I still use a Z87 motherboard today. I still got a 4770K CPU, of course an i7, and I still got 8GB of DDR3 RAM. All this was put in when I built it back in 2013. And to be honest, 8GB of DDR3 RAM, for example, would be considered today's standards as the bare minimum you would need to run a PC game, which is not necessarily true. I game at 1440p every single day, and I've never seen them cards go over 7,000 megahertz. Only once I saw it on Ultra in GTA 5 did I ever see it go around about 7,000 megahertz. Normally they sit around about the 5,000 to 6,000 mark. So again, I'm still not being bottlenecked in 2016 by them 8GB of DDR3 RAM. And when I first built the system as well, I had two 670 graphics cards in it. And the only reason I swapped them out was because I bought the actual Asus Swift monitor, which is a 1440p, and at the time them two 670 was just not powerful enough. So I put in two 970s, which was my last PC upgrade to this system. So that was done in September 2014, so about a year and a half ago was the last time I spent any money on this system at all. And again, the only reason I put them in was because I just could not achieve the FPS I would expect to see my personal preference at 1440p. So really, if you actually think about it, it all depends on the person itself. What do you expect to achieve? What do you expect out of your system? What is your personal preference? Do you like 1080p experience? Do you like 1440p? Do you want a game at 4K? Do you want to achieve 60 FPS at 4K? If you do, you're going to be that enthusiastic gamer. You're going to spend a lot of money. If you're happy to game at 1080p, then you know your 2-year-old system with a mid-range card is easily going to power that 1080p, and you don't need to upgrade yet unless you've got the money just to chuck at it and you want to because it's your hobby. If you're like myself, who plays at 1440p, my personal opinion about 1440p, it's not even that much more taxing over 1080p. Of course, it's a little bit, but not that much. I have a video, 970 versus 1440p. In that video, I test a single 970 versus a dual 970 in SLI. A single 970 on average gets well over 60 FPS at 1440p on Ultra. So you can see, depending on what you want to spend or what you already got, you might not really need to upgrade. But again, this depends on the individual. But one thing I do notice a lot though, after seeing comments on the channel and speaking to people on Steam I meet every day and read on forums like Overclockers or OC3D, one thing I see is that a lot of people just want to achieve on average, of course not everybody's going to agree with this, but a lot of people just want decent high settings in game, and of course decent frame rates. If they can achieve decent settings and frame rates in their games, then most likely they're just going to stick with what they got until they can't achieve it. So for me personally, my personal preference is, well, gaming depends really on what game I play. If I'm playing a FPS shooter like Battlefield 4 or Star Wars Battlefront, then I actually target frame rate would be around about 120 FPS at 1440p on ultra, maybe a few settings on high as well. That would be my target frame rate to achieve. Luckily though, my system, even though I haven't touched it in a long time, can achieve well above 144 FPS, but I do cap it at 143 to keep it under that 144 Hz refresh rate of the monitor. If I'm playing something like an RPG game like Tomb Raider or GTA 5 for example, again 1440p on ultra, I would expect, or my target frame rate would be around about 60 to 70. So it really depends on the individual. You guys might be happy with very high detail but 30 FPS, 45 FPS, or like me 60 plus. It depends really what you want. Now I've got friends out there, believe it or not, are still running Sandy Bridge and Ivy Bridge CPUs, and these same people have old AMD and Nvidia cards with only 2GB of RAM on board, and these cards are like 4 years old, and they're playing today's games on 1080p on low settings. And in my personal opinion, if you have to play a game in 2016 on low settings at 1080p, then that is the time you need to upgrade your PC. So that's pretty much the end of the video now, guys. So I hope this video has actually helped you in some way, or give you an idea of what do you actually want to do with your PC build. Do you really need to upgrade? Do you want to upgrade simply because there's new stuff out, or are you happy with what you got? I'd love to know what you guys think. At the end of the day, technology moves fast every single day, as we all know. When one product comes out, they're already hard at work designing the next one to be released in 6 months. This is just the nature of the business. A lot of times you don't really need to, because the new one is not that much better over the old one, and do you really want to spend the amount of money for that little performance you get? But anyway guys, drop a comment below. I'd love to know what you guys actually think on this matter, and of course if you enjoyed the video today, then please leave a thumbs up. As always guys, I'm going to end the video now, so I'll catch you next time. See ya.